What if I told you that there was a hidden world only accessible by 1% of the over 2 million tourists that visit Tulum cenotes each year?
Well, on today's adventure, that's exactly where we're headed, to explore beneath the surface of one of Mexico's most popular tourist destinations.
Hola y bienvenidos a Tulum.
And on today's adventure, we're going scuba diving in Dos Ojos Cenotes.
Let's get going. We recommend an early start and don't forget breakfast on your way in. Dos Ojos doesn't have food inside. We hitched a ride with our dive master and got to Dos Ojos as it opened, which is best to avoid the crowds and experience the beauty of the jungle in the morning light.
Dos Ojos, an ancient sinkhole forged into the porous limestone of the Yucatan Peninsula, 145 million years in the making.
The ancient Maya people considered these cenotes sacred and were vital locations for offerings, including human sacrifice to the gods.
Luckily for us, Dos Ojos nowadays offers swimming, snorkeling, and even massages, where just a 600 peso sacrifice was required for entry as scuba divers.
To have a private dive master who can provide transportation, any gear you need, and lunch between diving, you can expect prices around 2,400 to 3,500 pesos per person. We share all of our must-knows at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
After exploring the area, it was time for an extensive dive briefing from our dive master Johnathan, as there were many safety considerations to go over when cave diving. Most importantly, we studied the map to identify the dark blue areas where we would be navigating the cave system and the light blue areas where surfacing could be possible.
We can emerge to the surface without any trouble.
So we just had our dive briefing and we are about to gear up.
Let's do it.
Come on, put on your gear. Blake is taking too long.
This is lies. You sweating already or what? The first dive that we're going to is called the Barbie line. It's called the Barbie line because there's a line that we follow into the cavern, and tied onto that line at the turnaround point is a little Barbie. So it's called the Barbie line.
Little Barbie with a crocodile eating it.
Is that what he said?
Yes. It's good to note that divers have to put on the 50 pounds of equipment at the parking lot before walking down the stairs to the entry point. The walk back up after the dive is where you really feel the burn.
Let's go diving.
This is not a place you can dive alone. Johnathan was not only a dive master like Blake, but was also cave certified and led us in full cave diving gear.
There was truly so much to see on this dive. One of the coolest parts, I think, was just the stalagmites and stalactites everywhere. You were suspended in midair, like floating through them.
You definitely have to watch your buoyancy. I hit the top a couple times. I wasn't watching, my tank kind of hit, and there's some parts that become really narrow. It was pretty comforting to have that line, the Barbie line, I guess they will call it, since that's what this dive is called, and you follow the line the whole way, so you know that you're not gonna get lost.
When we actually got to the furthest point on the Barbie line, where the crocodile and the Barbie are sitting there were two cave divers that had little scooters, and they were about to go on a very deep exploration, so it would seem. It was really cool seeing all the different divers in the distance with their lights and stuff. Very, very eerie, very, very odd. And when you would point your flashlight in certain directions, all you could see was black. Like it was just nothing else there. Obviously, we did not go to those parts of the cave.
The Barbie line takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to reach the exit point, and depending on the time of day, you may get lucky to experience the incredible sun rays from below the surface.
Just finished the Barbie line, and
that was awesome.
I think it exceeded all of my expectations. What did you like the best?
I love that part where we're leaving the cavern and we're coming back to the light, where you can actually see all the snorkelers' feet, like kind of dangling up there, and
you just wave to them like hello.
You got these awesome rays of sunshine coming in, so we got some cool pictures, I hope, in there. Was super cool though.
Yeah. dive number 2 is going to be the Bat Cave line. So same thing, you follow the line, but differently in that one. When you surface in the middle of that dive, there should be a big bat cave, a big cavern all above you. So maybe we'll see some bats. So we're gonna gear up pretty soon and we're gonna get back in the water. All right, dive number 2.
Let's go Bat Cave.
Let's see some bats.
Let's go.
All right, time to get ready. After descending, we waved goodbye to the natural light, turned on our flashlights, and followed our lifeline into the deeper and darker caves of the bat line, watching our bubbles accumulate on the closed ceiling above us. Visibility overall was something out of a dream. Like, I want to say like at least 200 to 300 feet of visibility. It was crystal clear, and the fresh water is so much nicer than salt water. There was a lot to see on the second dive. It was much more cavernous. You got to see so many more stalagmites and stalactites, and they were massive. Midway through the dive, we reached the Bat Cave, and as soon as we reached the surface, the sounds and the smells hit us.
Welcome to the Bat Cave.
There are so many bats. It turns out you can actually scuba dive with bats. Although, I'm not sure you'd find any fruit bats in any fish identification book. It's only accessible by surfacing mid-dive or through a private snorkel tour if the water levels allow passage.
Descending again, we cruised by some leftover fruit dropped by the bats. We followed the line back through the maze of rock formations and exited the massive cave system, happy to see natural light once again.
We got lucky for a second time with the light pouring through the open cenote ceiling into the water.
After just 2 dives in the cenotes, we were borderline addicted to them. Unique, beautiful, and somewhat haunting. It wouldn't be our last time cave diving.
Nice to be back.
All right, so we just came up from our second dive. We dried off, we put all of our gear away, and we had some time to think about how awesome the Bat Cave was. What'd you think?
It was darker, it was more decorated, but it was awesome. I love the part where we got to surface up in the middle of the dive.
There were a lot of bats in this little Bat Cave, and they were flying around quite a bit.
Great 2 dives. I think they're different, but definitely cool to be able to do them both in the same area. You don't have to go to a different cenote to try out both of them.
You gotta go diving with the cenote guy. He knows all the best. Turn around. Tired and waterlogged, just 30 minutes later we were back in Tulum watching the sunset. A perfect ending to our epic Tulum excursion. We told Johnathan we'd be back again for more, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see us in our next adventure. And screenshot now for tips on Dos Ojos, and thank us later.
So, will you be cave diving on your next trip to Tulum? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing and following us on Instagram to see what we're up to next. And
We'll see you next week on today's adventure.